Welcome to My Favorite CX, a podcast that celebrates exceptional customer experiences. To listen to today's, please choose from one of the following options.
Welcome to My Favorite Customer Experience. I'm Chris Holt here at Holt CX Consultancy in the UK, and I'm joined today by Gary Suchley. Gary, welcome to My Favorite Customer Experience.
Thank you, Chris. Great to be here.
For those that don't know Gary, he's an enterprise account executive at UJet, where he helps customers of all sizes address their CX challenges by merging AI technology with a human-centered approach. Previously to UJet, Gary spent a number of years at 8x8, so he's well versed in the world of cloud and the challenges customers face. So, Gary, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what it's been like moving from 8x8 to a player that's very different in the CCaaS world?
I think that's exactly it, Chris. So I was at 8x8 for a number of years, and loved my time there, and I've met some great people and grew through my career ladder, everything around that. Made the move last year, and I think the key thing for me was to have that difference in the market. We know it's a super competitive place at the moment, the whole sort of CX landscape. So to have that angle where I can hopefully address customers' needs in a certain way was what attracted me to UJet.
Awesome. In terms of the technology, people know UJet from the Google partnership and the OEM, but tell us a bit more about what UJet does.
Yeah, so you're right. So we linked up with Google a couple of years ago, and that was something that the business is really proud, where Google chose us to be their OEM partner for CCaaS. But ultimately, we're more than just an OEM provider. So UJet, we're a CX platform, across self-service, automation, omni-channel, multimodal, all of the things that you'd expect from a full end-to-end CX platform that operates as a standalone business. And we're super channel-centric in our go-to-market also.
And when we talk about the market for yourself, obviously you're UK-based. Is it UK and Ireland for yourself, or Europe or EMEA, or what does it look like for you?
Yeah, so I guess UK is the focus for me initially in Ireland. We've got some great EMEA and European customers, and that will be a footprint that will continually grow as well. But definitely we've got a keen eye on the UK and Ireland market for the moment.
And is it still very much a startup mentality and feel to it?
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that attracts me, Chris. I think the ability for us to have that freedom to go and build a business and align ourselves to our customers, I think, is one of the key pieces to why I joined UJet. And I'm really enjoying it.
I think there's definitely, before we were recording, you were talking about, if you want something doing, you do it yourself, don't you? It's very much that approach sometimes.
Yeah, have bag, we'll travel type thing, Chris. So yeah, we're very much, we've got an operational mentality. We want to get things done for, our employees, but also our customers. They're the focal point of everything we do.
I think that's one of the challenges when you do go from that larger environment down to a smaller one, of like, you might be used to like 10 people being around you doing everything. And then suddenly it's like, all right, you're on your own, but you've also got that freedom to do that on your own and to hone that yourself and build out that region.
Yeah, and I think what works really well is because I'm the client-facing account executive. I have a great understanding of hopefully what they're asked and their needs are, so I can filter that back into the business really easily. And ultimately, if I'm the one doing the activity or doing the job for them, then hopefully that should align to what they need.
I think that's the thing as well. Being customer centric makes such a difference, and the fact that you can be dynamic and do that. That's something that I always didn't always feel like I had the freedom to do when you're in a bigger organization, because you have that structure.
Of course, and there's processes, there's alignment, there's a lot of things that separate you from the customer. And obviously that's the benefit of being that sort of smaller, more agile business, where we can hopefully give our customers what they need faster and quicker.
So moving on to the technology. See, for those not familiar with UJet, what's really exciting you in the stack? What can we expect?
So I think there's sort of three components that we talk about that, really differentiate ourselves and really make us a little bit different into some of the market players. So we talk a little bit around sort of this mobile first or mobile native approach. And when we talk about that, we're not talking about mobile friendly or leveraging a smaller screen for your iPhone. It's very much about leveraging the device as a data point. We live on these things day in, day out. They harness so much data around us, around our preferences, around our identification. All of these things that the device holds. But typically, in a standard sort of call center or contact center environment, we render that useless because we're calling into a PSTN line. So what we try to do is really utilize that data and utilize the device centric activities they have to make and to personalize that experience. So a great example would be around using the device as a tool would be around authentication. Historically, authentication has been give us your postcode, the last name is your address, all of that sort of stuff, and that hasn't changed in 20 years. But ultimately, we're using things like facial recognition on our phones 100 times a day. So why shouldn't we use that in the contact center? And they're the sort of things that we can bring into that environment. So really sort of using a modern approach to all of the activities around the CX journey.
So I guess what's really interesting there is we're taking that consumer experience that we're used to on our mobiles into the realm of customer experience.
Exactly that. And I think that's one of the key things that we try to be at UJet is very much that most modern, forward-thinking sort of CX vendor and platform to enable our consumer experiences to be relevant in that sort of CX journey. So whether that be contextually sharing photos with each other whilst on the call, be it videos, whatever that may be, we're offering the similar journeys we would utilize day in, day out with our, in a business environment also.
So working with customers where they are rather than the traditional sense of, hey, customers come and call us where we will ask you one of 5 options and play some green sleeves.
Exactly that. I talked to a customer the other day and was talking about web chat and, was talking about on our website and all the features and functionality we can provide. And then she said to me, when was the last time that you opened your laptop and went on a web chat to speak to a brand? And I was like, yeah, we don't do that anymore. You know what I mean? So it's about where can we meet them on their device of choice, not just the channel. So that's where the multimodal piece comes in. And that's some of the pieces we really focus on with our customers to ensure that the journey is as seamless as it can be.
I guess with that in mind, where do you think there's the biggest opportunity to create an exceptional customer experience now?
It's a really good question. So I think there's the element you just mentioned there around meeting them where they are. So that we have to have frictionless points of entry, and we have to make it really easy for customers to obtain information, and whether that be elevating an interaction from voice to chat, whether that be using a mobile application and you want to escalate a conversation to voice and having that contained environment, or whether it be the assistance of AI, automating some of the experiences as well. So we talk about functionality like Agent Assist and some of the conversational agents that are quite mature now and are getting much better. How can we align them to, not only enhance the agent's experience on the other end, but also harmonize some of the consumer's journeys through your contact center or through your CX as well?
And ultimately, the more you can do to remove that friction, hopefully, touch wood as well, the customer won't need to contact you.
That's exactly it. And I think that friction or that fear of the friction is what puts people off brands. I know myself, if something goes wrong, the last thing I want to do is to go through a painful process to get the information that I need. So it's gaining the trust around the journeys that they're gonna obtain and go through. And if we can reduce that friction on the point of entry, that generally sets us off on a good stead.
I think to touch on that point, I had to contact HMRC recently. For international listeners, that's our tax office, our version of the IRS. And it is known for being a bit of a horror show, a bit of a, you're going to be on hold for 2 hours, that kind of thing. And I'd put it off until like my Friday morning of that week of like, I that's when I need time. I need a 2-hour block just in case. Actually, it wasn't that bad. I didn't get what I needed to resolved. That's another issue. But to your point, that friction, I already knew reputationally that's going to be a long call. That's going to be a call where I have low expectations.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, that ultimately affects your interaction with that brand longer term, right? So, would you renew? Would you reinvest in that product or that service based upon that fear that you have around the friction? So, yeah, that's the thing we're trying to help our customers with, and change the perception of their customer experience. And I know there's a lot of talk around turning it into revenue centers and things like that, but I think the first step is around the perception of what they offer from a customer engagement.
Absolutely. Well, what we'll do, Gary, is we'll take a little break there. I will place our listeners on hold and we'll come back and ask you about a recent favorite customer experience.
Fantastic.
Your call is important to us. Please hold, and you will be connected to your next favorite customer experience shortly.
Welcome back to my favorite customer experience. I'm here with Gary Suchley, and before the break, we were talking about how removing friction is a major point within customer experience moving forward. Gary, why don't you share with us one of your favorite customer experiences and tell us what that experience was?
Yeah, it's a good point. So I'm going to change the tone a little bit, and it's quite a distressed customer experience. So one of our utility customers had a big problem around their outreach around power cuts, and notifying vulnerable customers, getting in contact with people that maybe need a little bit more help, and everything that surrounds that, and trying to be as proactive as they can. And one of the ways we helped them with was ultimately by the first port of call was logging the power cut using their self-serve mobile application. And so the challenge was, how can we take that first notification and escalate it as quickly as possible to the customer we think may be at risk. So we worked with their teams and obviously with some of the tooling that we have on the UJet platform. And because we can take the geographic data from the mobile application, what we can do then is link that back into the CRM and create a proactive outreach to reach out to everyone within a 10-mile radius to notify them that they're at risk of a power cut. So either they know that one, we're aware of the power cut and we're on it, or two, it may be coming, and to prepare themselves for that power cut themselves. So what we found with the utility provider was a huge saving, not only in the cost to serve their customers, but also the CSAT increments around the notifications and everything around that. So yeah, a bit of a distressed journey, but one I think we provided real value to, that was really unique to a certain industry and really niche, but ultimately just gives you an idea of the power of that sort of mobile centric approach.
I think that's something that I've kind of used as an example when I've been demoing for years. Of, you've got all this analytical data, and you can use it to then go proactively out to those customers in an outage of ISP, utility, or anything like that, where it's a vital service to people. What you do as well is you gain the trust of the customer because you show you're on top of it, but you can also then set the expectations. So what you might see, for example, I guess, with those phone calls coming in is people calling up, one, in distress because they have no power. Two, they want to know updates. They want to know if there's compensation. They want to know, all that kind of stuff. What you can do by being proactive is you can settle that expectation, and you can see what other things people are talking about by using the analytics of the platforms as well to say, right, we know there's an issue. There's potentially going to be this. It's potentially going on until this long, and we will contact you every 2 to 4 hours with updates. And what you're actually doing there, whilst it sounds like a lot of work, and in maybe the technology of 10 years ago, we'd look at that and go, oh, that's impossible. But with the technology now, we can absolutely do that. Sending a couple of SMS is pennies, but you're preventing that future cost of those people calling in. And to your point, the CSAT driver of I don't need to worry about this. I'll just go find the candles in the cupboard, and hopefully the kids have got enough data to get them through and enough charge. It really changes that from being, it's a distressful situation, but you're not having to worry about updates. You're not in the dark at all.
There's no pun intended there about not in the dark either there, Chris. But you're exactly right. There's channels of choice as well. So, we think of an elderly lady. She maybe perhaps doesn't use SMS or WhatsApp. That may be the voice AI dropping a note on her mobile for them. We can really be flexible around the types of customers that we're talking to and interact with them the right way. But you are right. It's the proactiveness, that getting ahead of the curve, which is ultimately going to define that CSAT, and the piece of data that enables us to drive that stemmed from that mobile application and being able to be that mobile, first sort of business. So that just gives you an idea of the art of the possible, that the sort of companies we can work with.
So we talked there about an experience that has helped a company really help customers out in a time of need. What about something from your personal life? I mean, I know people have lots of bad customer experiences. Thankfully, this is not called my worst customer experience, because we'd never stop recording at times. But have you got something you can share with us?
So, one of the sort of wow moments for me was last week. I booked a table at a restaurant, and it was it was a voice AI platform. I guess the key thing for that is I didn't think it was human, but I nearly forgot it was a bot. It was as lifelike as I've experienced so far. Even some of the mannerisms and things like that, and it just gives you an idea of where the technology is going and the power of the technology and the industry we work in. So that was one of the better experiences I've had for a long while.
And it contained you were able to transact everything you needed to, didn't need to escalate.
No, it contained everything. Booked the table. There was a few amendments I needed to make. It done that on the fly as well, and in a really sort of contextual, human-like way. So, it was super powerful.
And when you arrived at a restaurant, everything was as you anticipated?
Yeah, in line with the booking. All of the amendments were right. So, I can't fault it. It was a really slick, good experience, and ultimately makes you want to rebook, doesn't it?
I mean, that's one of the things I often ask is, did it influence your behaviors? And you're already talking about rebooking.
Yeah, and I think, like I said, your experience of them as a restaurant or as a brand starts from that interaction, doesn't it? It doesn't start necessarily when you sit at your table. So ultimately, the ease of using the bot to be able to book the table and everything around that makes it so simple.
Awesome. Well, hopefully a good meal as well.
It was pretty good. Yeah, it was pretty good.
Well, there you have it. So restaurants can get return business based on their booking experience, sometimes even more so than the food experience, by the sounds of it.
There you go. Invest in AI.
Gary, if people want to learn more about you and about what you're doing at UJet, where can they find you?
So LinkedIn, so Gary Suchley, at ujet.cx, or you can also drop me an email, gary.suchley@ujet.cx as well.
Awesome. Well, Gary, thank you very much for giving up an early evening on a nice summer's day to come and talk about a favourite customer experience.
No, thank you for having us, Chris. It's been great.
Awesome. Thank you very much for listening, everyone. We'll catch you again soon.
Thank you for listening to My Favorite CX. Your listenership is important to us. On your keypad, please press a number between 1 and 5 to rank how much you've enjoyed your experience.